This is the Poddy with Serene
and Pearl.
Get it right, Poddy.
It's the Trim Healthy Podcast with Serene, Pearl, Danny, and it must be special guest month because today we are featuring and blessed by receiving and thrilled to have Dr. Stephen LeMarr, my friend.
My man, I have never had an intro like that, and I hope that is the first of many. That was amazing.
I got
Have
you.
we ever had anyone with such cool shoes in studio?
Probably, surely.
No,
this looks
we
like
have not.
Ethiopian ostrich.
Do
Is
not
that
talk
right?
shoes unless you hold them to the camera. Do not do such
But
things.
then he has to see his
this-
awesome socks, people.
Coffee bean socks.
Yes.
Love it. Living La Vida Loca. Absolutely.
Hey,
is
we
good.
are with Dr. Steve, who we actually don't call him doctor, even though he is. We call him Steve Pup, and he calls us pups.
I do.
There's only 3 pups in the world, and they are
Yes.
Serene, Pearl, and Steve.
Yeah.
It's a special group, and I think it wouldn't be a stretch to say there's probably no other group like the 3 pups on planet Earth. That would probably not be a stretch.
I think we've spent so much time together.
Yes, we have.
If you do not know who Dr. Steve is, he is the founding member with Serene and I of Kiaora. So Kiaora is our bioidentical hormone replacement therapy program, along with Dr. K as well.
Absolutely.
But the 4 of us, but the 3 of us work together for how many years have we done this now?
I mean, we're into our 4th year.
Yes. Now the first 2.5 years were just
Now, pups, they
Just
pups.
ground
Have you
Yeah.
ever seen pups? They fight,
yes.
They
but then
do.
they're also chummy.
They
Yeah.
are.
You know?
They're family.
Yeah, they're
Pups
family.
are family. Pups are the closest family because what pups do is the pups had a vision from God is the reality of it. There's the truth. The Lord himself gave us a vision to bring health to women in a way that was not being delivered, and we felt that. I'll never forget, Danny, the first meeting we had about 4 years ago when Pearl and Serene and I were talking. It had been a number of years. We were friends for over a decade, but it had been a while since we'd spoken. And we ended up connecting and talking about women's health, specifically hormonal health. And about 10 minutes into the conversation, it was really electric. We were aware that the presence of the Holy Spirit was there, like with us. And we're like, we've got to do this. And they're like, Steve, how do we bring hormonal health to women in all 50 states? And that began the journey.
I appreciate your use of the word electric.
Absolutely.
It
No,
was
that's
actually,
right.
It
and I'm
literally
not even
was.
like, I'm like, people get too super spiritual around me. I'm like, just go away, you're scaring me. But that day,
Yeah.
my hair stood on my arms,
Yeah.
and I'm
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It was it really was a
Yeah.
moment, and it's a moment that's changed all of our lives, and it's a moment that has now changed the lives literally of thousands of women, not hundreds, thousands of women, and that number is only growing as women find out about the life-giving therapies available at Kiaora, and more than that, the people that are behind it, because that's the delivery of the therapies are the people, because all of our core team, as you all well know, they carry a burden for women. This isn't words. God spoke something to our hearts about 8 months ago called Golden Rule Care. And what he said is, this is my idea for health care. I'm going to show you and your team how to treat the women that you're taking care of like you yourself would want to be treated. And this is not available right now in what we would call modern health care. This is a new approach, and we're learning to do that with the women that we serve, to literally treat them like we would want to be treated. And it's a process, and it's a communal process, but we truly are walking it out, Danny, in our technology, in the use of technology, in the training that we do within our internal teams to really deliver a care that says, if you were my mom, my sister, how would I want to treat you? And if you were treating me, what would I want? And we are constantly working, and this is the truth before the Lord, to bring that forth into the space, and we are.
When women's hormones are off, like their purpose feels jacked. They're right, like who they are as,
Oh, my
as
word.
beings
well,
feels
when
wrong.
we first talked to you, Steve, because, actually it was our sister Van, she said, you need to talk to Steve, because Serene and I had
She
this
sure did.
burning in our hearts to bring hormone care to women, because that's the question we got. Pearl and Serene, please, who do I go to for my hormones? And I remember that day on that phone we talked to you, and you're an emotional guy. I remember
That's why he's a pup.
it's why he's a pup, because he can express his emotions. But
lot of
you
crying,
started
I remember.
tearing up
Come on, guys.
because of your wife, Tony.
I did.
Well, he
On
has
that-
compassion
on
for
that
women.
call. He was like, Tony had she was in the midst of some hormonal turmoil.
Pearl, let me actually address that, because my wife we've been married 34 years, my best friend, 4 children, all married to amazing spouses, 6 grandies and 1 on the way. But Tony is steady as a rock, like she never changes. Anyone that knows my wife, I'm gung-ho. Tony is steady, any day of the week, steady. Crazy stuff going on, steady. She just never changes. She's truly the most amazing woman I've ever met. However, when she began going into the menopausal years, she literally did not recognize herself. She cried more in 2.5 years than in 30 years of marriage. This is not an exaggeration. The wheels were falling off. She said, Stephen, I do not I mean, we're best friends. We have a wonderful marriage. But she's like, I don't recognize myself. I don't know who this person is. It was like she was literally out of her body saying, who is this? And it was that painful, and watching her go through that, it is the most gut-wrenching thing I've ever been through, is watching my wife literally suffer.
And some people do that. Some women do that from like their early 20s, I hear, right?
Oh, some women, they're never really fully hormonally optimal. Well, someone who come to Kiaora say, I don't think I was ever hormonally optimized.
We had a guest that
Yes.
said that, who sat right here, who
100%.
said, when I
But-
got on hormones, I realized that I've never been right.
Yes.
But Tony really, your wife Tony, she went on her own bioidentical hormone journey, kind of with the birth of all
Yes.
that we were creating, and
And it changed her life.
yes,
Literally changed her life. She got her life back. She got her emotions back. She was herself again, and things that kind of had been put in the rearview mirror were now very much a part of who she was again. It was beautiful, and that was, as you said, Pearl, it was a part of the birth of Kiaora.
I know. We spent some time with Tony it was about a week or so ago. We were just laughing the whole night away. It was like, it was so beautiful.
All
She's-
jacked up on your hormones.
Yeah.
We were all jacked.
Living La Vida Loca, dude. Absolutely.
But we brought you here today because so many people don't know who you are. Who is Dr. Steve? You were originating this with Serene and I. And I want people to just understand your heart, that your care. Serene and I have a lot of care for women. I know Dr. K does too, but your care factor it's so high, sometimes it even freaks me out. It's so beautiful though, and that passes down to everyone who works at Kiaora. This care just drips down, and they all care.
That's so. I really do want to just brag. I know I'm speaking to the ladies that are listening, and I want to say to every single woman that is listening to this podcast that will see this, I want you to tell your friends. I want to tell your sisters, your mothers, your friends, because every single woman in our country that is perimenopausal or beyond, and many underneath that level, they need this help. And so first thing I want to say is tell your friends and your family, because they desperately, this will change the women in your life. It will change their lives. But going back to the team, the Lord has truly assembled together an absolutely remarkable team of people that are driven by what we have come to call Golden Rule Care. Literally, it is integrated into everything that we are doing, and we are constantly innovating and developing ways to deliver this more effectively. I also want to say to every single woman that has been a part of this journey, we want to thank you. Where am I kind of looking in the camera? Which one? Like this one?
Never
Is
at
it?
the camera.
Never at the
Danny
camera.
doesn't let
No,
you.
you
Okay.
can
You're
look at the
allowed
camera.
to.
He
Okay.
just wants to be
Do
the
you
only
notice
one.
how Steve's taking over anyway? So Danny, he's gonna overrule you.
Danny and I actually go back well over a decade, and so you see this camaraderie. It's genuine. We actually love one another. I think he loves me. But I do want to say that this
Look at him.
this journey that we have been on, it is a team of people that are literally doing everything that they know to do to care for women. I mean, they're driven by it. We're driven by that in our customer service. We are driven by that in our technology. And I don't want you to be afraid of the word technology, because we are incorporating artificial intelligence in ways that allow us to take the care that we feel, engage with our customer, and really learn about them in a way there's not enough hours in the day to do it. And this allows us to serve you, meet your needs, understand your needs, and really serve you. And our whole team's they're literally driven by that.
I love how you said this is our way to serve. Pearl always like Mrs. Mummies me over the mic. Get closer. To serve you. Because, it's the golden care rule that you were talking about.
It is.
But even more than that, it's our heart, and we've been talking about this just internally as a pups. It's our heart to be those hands and feet of Jesus. Like when he walked the earth, the sick, they were like, I can come and I can get healing and I can be whole. And of course we're not Jesus. Of course we're not. But, healing that comes from him isn't always a supernatural miracle. Sometimes it involves therapeo. He'd be like fig poultices on the eyes. And there is a...
Supernaturally natural.
Yes. And so there is healing that comes and drips from Jesus.
Yes,
and what
there
he
is.
created when he spoke the world into being, and he created, the compounds and plants. And that's the therapeo that comes from God and his creation. And we want to be that care, so that when we serve you, we're serving you in that way that's like, we want to be in that
Yes.
that heart of Jesus that is like, I want to see you whole.
Can I
wanna
say
see you
something?
whole.
We're talking about bioidentical hormone therapy, and then we're talking about Jesus. So
Yes.
I want to bring those two things together and say, we're not the only online bioidentical hormone therapy platform anymore. We started out, we were one of the very few, and we were just a baby, and now some very big companies have come online. And
They have.
when we first started, there were some companies out there just beginning to do it too, and we said, we want this to be a place for everybody. You don't have to be Christian, you don't have to be anything. However, so many Christian women are so confused on this subject.
They are.
And
It's
the
so
big
true,
people
Pearl.
out there are doing it. It's just like, hey, improve your sex drive, but not to improve your marriage.
Yeah.
We're all about marriage and family,
we
and
are.
a
100%.
trustworthy place so that women can heal, so their families can
And
heal.
also, not
Yes,
only
100%.
and
That's
it's
so
also
powerful.
it can be almost a scary place. And I'm going to speak very politically incorrect here, but I don't care. When we're researching about hormones, a lot of the information out there is for gender affirming or transgender care.
Yes.
Which we don't, that doesn't,
Nope.
it's not something we support at all.
is
And
not.
so we want this to be a place where you can get on our website, and if the site is left up on your phone, you don't have to worry that your child's going to come across and see something. We want to be something that is biblically sound in
we
this
do.
hormone movement
We do.
that stands for marriage and stands for
Family
a thriving
and
sex life within a marriage.
within a marriage. And I
Yeah.
really want to, I want to step into this, and I hope this is left. This is a raw interview. I'm not trying to be anything, and I know you all are not, other than we are. We're really, and I've brought my phone up for a reason. I want to read to every woman that is listening to this podcast our core value called Golden Rule Care and what it means, because Pearl, it's what you just talked about. Serene, it is what you talked about. We unapologetically glorify the Lord Jesus Christ in our company, unapologetically. Does this mean we're preaching on our site? No. Does it mean we want people to know that the answer to all of their problems is Jesus? Yes. We do, unapologetically. And I think one of the things that the nation and the world saw in the martyrdom of Charlie Kirk is an inspiration. I cannot tell you how many people that I have heard say, I have a boldness now to be bold with my faith and not to be ashamed, because people are looking for answers. And so in the midst of delivering hormones, what we are saying to people is this: Jesus Christ loves you. He sees you, and He cares deeply about the suffering you're going through. And He has real answers, natural answers, supernaturally natural answers to meet you right where you are through a team of people that really, they're not perfect. We are not perfect. We're learning all the time. We do make mistakes, but we care. God knows we do, and we're trying to help our women. So here is, and for all of our ladies that are listening, we have a set of core values. There's 4 of them. I'm not going to read all of them. I'm going to read the first one. But these are the values that drive us as a company. This is why, literally why we exist. And everyone on our core team, from the pups to our executive team and all those that we work with on the Kiaora team, are driven by this. Golden Rule Care, GRC, it is based upon the way Jesus treated people. Jesus said, "Do unto others as you would have them do unto you." Jesus saw the individual eye to eye, face to face, never looking over them or down on them. He met them where they were. Jesus never drove people to good outcomes. He treated the whole person, spirit, soul, and body. And the life-changing outcomes were the natural outflow of that encounter. This applies to every relationship: family, internal team, patients, external partners, and practitioners. This is Golden Rule Care.
Yeah, I love it.
And today, Steve, you wanted to talk about some kind of exciting new things that we're doing at Kiaora. As we've spoken, we now have like complete sex hormonal care. So we take care of
100%.
And our doctors, I say we, but that's our heart. Our doctors take care of, the estrogen, the testosterone, the progesterone that starts going missing in women. But also other hormones. And at first we took flack for these hormones.
Yes, we
but
did
I think
a lot of it.
That's changing.
It is.
As the research is pouring in. The incretin hormones, and these are ones that people know about, GLP-1, and at first I think they were terrifying for many.
They were.
Well, they were done wrong by many places.
Yes, they were.
And Dr. K, came in and said, hey, there's a way to do this right. And I think even at first, even though she's the Surgeon General of Arkansas, I think people were still like, hold on, I'm worried about these shots, But now, a year and a half later, so much has been coming out about, yes, full dosing, how it's helping so many, but microdosing.
Yes.
And I have to tell a personal story. When Serene and I went in late 2020, it was in the midst of COVID, but we went to this convention with a bunch of doctors. And
actually, it was only doctors. I don't know how we got invited, but they called you Dr. Barrett the whole time you were walking.
I had a little
That's
name tag,
awesome.
Dr. Barrett. I don't know.
Not going to happen around here.
But we heard for the first time there, Serene and I, about a hormone, peptide called GLP-1. We learned about its disease-fighting effects, its anti-inflammatory effects, its brain protective effects. And I was sitting in
And nobody was talking about it for weight loss.
No, they did talk about blood sugar, insulin sensitivity.
In amongst of a host of other things.
Other peptides,
like anti-Alzheimer's.
Wow.
So I was like, oh my goodness, I want to take this. I'm like, yes.
I'm like, my husband's getting on it, like on the way home.
So I talked to a doctor right there. Some of these doctors were already prescribing, and they were talking about the effects they'd seen in their patients. I talked to one of the doctors. I said, please, I just want to be on the cutting edge. I want brain protective effects because I'm an aging woman. We're at risk of Alzheimer's. And they looked at me and they said, Pearl, you're dreaming. You are too thin. You cannot take this medication. The side effect is it makes you lose weight. So I go, okay. But Serene's husband was able to get on it. And as you know, we've talked about it many times, it did change his life. And then, Kiaora, we opened that world up. And we have had many amazing, because we did it so low and slow and safely with our practitioners, we have had so many amazing stories.
Yes, we have.
Steve, of women that were already doing the right things. And this was just a hormone that was missing in their bodies or depleted or lower.
Anyone who's had a compromised gut usually has lower GLPs.
Or those that have dieted.
Those who are diabetic have lower GLPs.
Yes, and those that have like rebound weight and loss, they usually have lower GLPs. So,
and I think that's an area that the space generally, and I'm speaking of the national space, has become very familiar with. GLP-1, people understand you're talking about tirzepatide, you're talking about semaglutide. They understand what you're talking about. They understand the brand name medications. And there's a general understanding of what the GLP-1s do. As you just said, Pearl, the approach that we've taken has been very proactive in wanting our patients to understand how to eat, what to eat, the protein that they need to eat, understanding how to exercise being a very vital component of that process, understanding the dosing, that we're not trying to get into a bikini in a month. We're trying to institute something that is going to help women with their lifestyle and coming to a healthier place. And so I think we've gained a real understanding of GLP-1 as far as full-on dosing to help with weight loss, especially women that have run into the wall. They're doing everything they know to do and they're just stuck. But then more recently, and that's where we're going in this Poddy, is really talking about microdosing and the benefits of it. And Pearl, you've got a personal story to share before we even jump into that.
Yeah, well, I started listening to doctors like Dr. Tina Moore, others talking about, actually she held strong and she got so much flack throughout the time when, Ozempic especially when it came out was sensationalized. And yes, so many people, sadly, I think did it wrong. There was a lot of weight loss happening in our culture and not enough protein and too fast and too high.
And not enough food. And then when they did eat food, it was their crappy little quarter slice of pizza. So there was no motility going.
Or their Twinkies or whatever. Absolutely.
So I think a lot of people were hurt. And I do think that's part of the fear. And then, the big scary stories like, my aunt ended up in hospital, but, her whole intestine shut down. Well, that can happen with high doses too.
Well, and it can happen too when people that really desperately need the GLP-1s are often people that already have bile obstruction issues and, they've already got slow motility. They don't poop very often anyway. And then you take and you totally crash their appetite and they're not eating at all except for a little fatty fried thing occasionally. You're going to shut everything down.
So yes, I think we all need to say bad things happened, especially for a while. And then I think people have started, the sanity has started to just come. And one of those doctors, I think, was Dr. Tina Moore. I mean, she got a lot of flack for sticking to her guns, saying, hold on, these therapies can be so healing. She talked about her own mother's journey with Crohn's disease and how she put her on a GLP-1 when everybody said don't do it and how her mother got healing. I mean, I'm just telling the story. And her own journey of inflammation, brain fog, and autoimmune, and she's like, hold on, I've read the research. I'm standing strong. I am giving this to my patients. They are doing incredible. She'd share about her own journeys, and I'm like, okay, that doctor back then said I was too thin, but I'm reading research now that says you can microdose and get the anti-inflammatory benefits, protect the brain.
But they have to be true microdoses, right?
Yeah.
Not what some places are calling microdoses, but it's just onboarding doses, but it's not true microdosing.
Microdose is anything below a standard starting dose. So, I mean,
oftentimes maybe Tina Moore likes to say a fifth or a tenth of that dose.
I mean, it could be that low, but I didn't start that low. So I thought to myself, I can be supervised. I can do this. And so I have a personal story. I started microdosing, not for weight loss, but because I'm an aging woman. And in perimenopause, not only do I lose estrogen and all these things, it's proven a woman starts declining in creatine hormones.
And before you even go any further, Pearl, I want to jump in on that and say it is so important because, as I said earlier, there's an understanding that GLP-1, it's going to help with weight loss. Done right, it can really help. But what the entire space is beginning to understand is, my word, these incretin hormones dosed at lower levels, at the microdose level, still have massive impact, not primarily weight loss, although there may be some mild weight loss or maintenance, but we're talking benefits that are not focused on the weight side of things, but rather the internal healthful benefits. And that's where you're going
the
right
brain,
now.
Yeah,
the
that's
immune
where I'm going.
system.
And I've got 5 of them to
And
talk
actually
about.
stop that histamine reaction. So they're so anti-inflammatory.
I want to talk about 5 of them that, are out there now in the research that people are talking about. But I did notice, and I think we're all so different. I think I'm very, very sensitive to them and the fact that I did start losing weight. So I've had to take my dose.
It was a true microdosing level. It wasn't an
But
onboarding.
others microdose and they don't. So I think we're all so unique. I had to take the dose down. I had to space it further apart.
And let me say this, and I know I keep hopping in,
Yeah.
but it's so important. That's the reason that our microdosing regimen
Yeah.
starts out at the highest. It's still a microdose, so
Yeah.
that we get the most bang for the buck. But if a woman says, hey, I'm losing weight, I don't want to, great, you titrate down.
Yeah.
Whereas when we're going on the weight loss, we will titrate up. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
Yep.
And that's what I had to do. But so here's what can, and I'm not sitting here as a doctor saying this is what will happen to you if you microdose. I'm not saying everyone should microdose. I'm just saying it can be a blessing for many women, I believe.
Absolutely.
Especially women who go on hormones, and some of them, they get this anabolic boost. And some of them actually, if they've been losing weight, it stops. For some, now some it continues. Sometimes they even get better weight loss. But for some, especially when they use testosterone and things like this, they actually find that they get a little bit of weight gain sometimes.
But I think it's just an initial first 10 months on the hormones. It's called what I noticed with me.
Yes,
And
you
then
did. And it can be. But what I have seen is those that do this together have powerful results
Yes, they
of
do.
both sex hormones and then low dose GLP-1. But this is what the research is showing, is that even in microdoses, GLP-1s and there's GLP-1, but there's also GIP, and there's others coming out.
There are.
I mean, they will continue to identify these gut hormones and
There's a
bring
third
more
one
and
coming
more.
out, right?
Yes. And so they don't just work on blood sugar. They are anti-inflammatory. And this is huge, especially for the brain.
Yes.
And so many of us women get brain fog as we get older. And estrogen can definitely help with that. But these GLP-1s can bring a clarity to the brain that I notice.
Even women with Alzheimer's already having Alzheimer's.
I haven't seen any research saying it turns Alzheimer's around, but currently there are studies giving GLP-1s to people with current Alzheimer's and dementia. And they're seeing what's happening. Originally, some of the first GLP-1s were designed as treatment for this. So who knows where that's going to go. But they have shown, there is definite research showing it lowers inflammation in the brain.
And the brain is the beginning of everything, right? The brain affects the immune function,
Yeah.
which then the immune function does affect our metabolism. So a lot of people
Absolutely.
want to say, well, I'm just going to eat well and exercise. We'll just work on metabolic health. But
Yeah.
what about the layers before that? It
Yeah.
all is
It's a
fountain.
cascade.
It's a cascading
But what
fountain.
is it? Like in my mind, am I picturing chemicals? I mean, what? I've heard these words, semaglutide.
So the
What is it?
It's incretin hormone. So you have sex hormones in your body. You have steroid hormones, which is cortisol. You have all sorts of hormones. These are incretin
Like testosterone.
hormones. Yeah,
That's a
I mean,
sex
it's
hormone, yeah.
released in your gut when you eat. Now, some of us release less than others, and then as we age, we even release less than we did in our youth. So I don't know if you have anything to say about that,
so
Dr.
these
Steve.
are from a chemical structure. These are mimics of the actual hormone that is produced in the body, and so that is why they are so phenomenally effective, because it's an actual mimic of that incretin hormone naturally occurring in the gut. For many reasons, the levels can be reduced, and when you actually supplement those with a mimic of that hormone, the body says, okay, I'm going to do this is supposed to do. It's giving me the extra amperage I need to perform those functions
So
in
would
the
they
body.
be categorized as anti-aging?
They are anti-aging.
Well, some doctors definitely call them that. Definitely.
I would say that as a just
User?
a free
As a user?
speaker.
No, Serene is not a user of any microdosing.
I'm so wanting to. It's like, get me at it, but I'm trying to gain weight. So
Yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to compromise your
Yeah.
attempt at gaining. Yeah. Okay. So like legally, you're not supposed to. Like where do
No,
where's
this
that
is off-label.
territory?
Legally, you can prescribed by a doctor.
Absolutely.
So many medications are off-label use, right?
Yes.
They're created for one thing and then used for
Absolutely.
another.
A lot are used more for their off-label functionality prescribed by a physician than they are for their primary indication.
But legally, if you want a full dose of GLP-1, you should be 25 BMI or higher. Is that correct?
Yes, you should be.
Now, if microdose off-label, that no longer is taken
absolutely
into.
not,
So,
because for many people, there's no associated weight loss. It is all
Yeah.
the helpful benefits
Yeah.
that you're getting
so,
into
and,
now.
and this is and it helps your body use insulin better. So what is that? Insulin sensitivity. So many of us as we age get insulin resistance,
Mm-hmm.
and GLP-1s.
and if you're in
powerful.
late peri, even mid-peri and menopause, and you're not on hormones, you have the beginnings of insulin resistance, if not getting more advanced. Or real
Isn't it
insulin
remarkable to
resistance.
think that the benefits we're talking about right now are so easy to employ in the body? This is not complex. It is very straightforward. And one of the things we've done at Kiaora is make it very accessible and very simple in order to be able to utilize this microdosing. And for many women, the benefits they get, they're life-changing for many women. This is not small things. This is like, okay, I have the opportunity with a very easy process, relatively inexpensive, to have an impact on literally my quality of life.
And I think that's one thing that the reason why we're sitting here talking about it now is when we first released, things are finally coming down to make them more. I believe they'll get even more affordable. Yes, we did start out and certain people just couldn't afford that. Maybe still so now, but things are coming down, and that's what I feel proud of.
They are.
I feel so proud of that, because you know how hard I fought, Steve?
I want to address this for all the women out there that have gone on this journey with us. And again, you are part of the solution. We do this together. This isn't things we're just bringing to you. We learn from you and we bring things to you. We did. Our price points were higher. They were higher than a lot of people out there. We did the best we could to stay in business as a young company. There were some that were higher, but we weren't on the low side, which we are now, which is so exciting. And that has been as a result, ladies, of all of our wonderful women that have grown with us and have stood with us, have believed in Kiaora as we've believed in them. And now the benefits of that is we are able to leverage a larger audience to reduce the pricing and to get a lot of our pricing now on our GLP-1s that you're going to be seeing in microdosing, it's some of the best out there. Plus you're getting golden rule care, and that's why we're wanting to deliver that pricing. But we had to get to a point that we could do it and keep our doors open. And Pearl fought me tooth and nail, and so it was a pup fest boxing match.
You know when you watch some of those creation shows? What?
No, you're just so far away from the mic. Poor JD. He talks to me, he doesn't talk to you.
Oh my goodness. No, but when you get to see those animal shows and they're really going for the jugular, the puppies, Pearl and Steve. Oh my goodness, I had to referee sometimes.
Sometimes he'd be like, okay, well, you want to destroy us, Pearl. Do you want us to stay alive? And I'm like, yes, but not like that.
It's true. It's literally true. It drove me to the end.
But anyway, but now, we've got, it's not just shots. We've got oral versions that are very bioavailable with semaglutide.
Absolutely.
Semaglutide is thankfully, it's very bioavailable under the tongue as a sublingual.
It is, and surprising to us, that has blown up. I tell you, the amount of sublingual GLP-1 that we are doing specifically on the Sema, it's crazy. It has surprised us.
Is it as effective as injections?
It depends on the individual. For some it can be.
I talked to a woman who said, I tried injections, it didn't work for me. I'm on the sublingual, and she is just thriving. She's like, I'm down
really
24 pounds, and she's on the starting dose and has never moved.
Yeah, it really is person to person. Now, on the whole, most people are going to have a more profound response to an injectable. That's just the way it goes. But again, every person is unique. And so what a lot of people will do is they will start out on the sublingual GLP-1.
Because it's lower impact, no injections.
It's more cost effective. So it's cheaper. Yep. And then it's like, okay, let's try this. We titrate up. If it's like, I'm not where I need to be, and with their physician, they're like, we're not where we need to be. Great. Our pricing on our injectables, it's fantastic. And so they just move over to injectable. And then at any point, they and their doctor decide they can always move back. But
which is
a
where
lot
I
of
think
people
I'm
are
about
doing
to
that.
go. Because I'm thinking the
bit.
injectable is just too strong for me, even at microdoses. And
Absolutely.
I'm thinking, I've been looking into
Maybe I could do it too.
Okay. Hey, just wait.
Not for 6 months,
Yeah.
Serene. Minimum.
So we've talked about the first two. And this is another that is just breaking through with research study after research study. Just go ask ChatGPT, but it's fantastic for the cardiovascular system, the heart, the blood vessels.
It's so exciting.
Large studies show fewer heart attacks and strokes for those on GLP-1. And even microdoses help with blood pressure, cholesterol, blood vessel health.
You got your hubby on it yet?
Oh, I wish, but my hubby doesn't want to lose weight either. He's scared of it.
Yeah.
What about people that
He's
have
at the high end of it,
strokes?
like he's at a healthy BMI, but what's that? Say that again.
People that have had strokes.
I don't know the research on that. I'd have to look it up.
Should they? Yeah.
So
Oh,
what
but-
they'll do, they will actually, we have interactions with our physicians, but there are some areas that can be treated on a one-on-one basis. But because we are treating thousands of women, we have to be very aware because our care, it is very high level, but it is not in office. And there's a point that we have to be careful for the women that we treat. And there are some women we're like, listen, there's help. And this is the rare case. These are the edge cases, but you need to actually sit with your physician and someone would
And
actually.
they then refer back to us. kind of
Yes,
thing, yeah.
and so if there's a history of strokes, that's generally someone that we're going to say, hey, we want you to get with a good primary care doctor or a specialist to advise on this. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
Okay, protects the kidneys, and this is why I wanted my husband. I'm like, just talking about it for future, but GLP-1s ease stress on the kidneys and slow down damage, especially with people with any diabetes, pre-diabetes, type 2 diabetes. And the fifth one, the liver. Supports the liver, fatty liver. What's it called? Non-alcoholic liver. It starts to get fatty, like the muscles become striated with fat droplets. GLP goes in there and cleans it out.
It's unbelievable. It's
Cleans
unbelievable.
it out like nothing.
That insulin resistance, that reduction, as we know, even going back to COVID, one of the primary enemies was inflammation, uncontrolled through interleukin-9, cytokine storms, uncontrolled inflammation. And when the body is inflamed, it does terrible things. But you start dealing with that inflammation, and then you start affecting, as you said, brain, cardiovasculature, you're affecting your kidneys. I mean, it is life. Anything you can do, especially with a mimic of what is in the body, and the body says, hey, we need to turn that down. Then all of your major systems are going to be like, we are loving this. And that's what you're talking about, Pearl.
I am. And I know women, I hear from women all the time who talk about their pain levels after GLP-1. Yes, with estrogen. Estrogen raises serotonin, pain goes down. But GLP-1s have their own very powerful influence on pain, especially pain with women as they age, shoulder pain, joint pain,
Yes,
like this. They find
100%.
that it reduces dramatically, and
Autoimmune
they're like,
pain.
I don't even care about the weight loss. I need this for just to wake up in the morning and not feel in pain.
Absolutely. Yes.
So aging is ubiquitous with hormone loss, right?
Yes.
100%.
And of all kinds, because a lot of people just think sex hormone loss, but incretin hormone loss can be.
Yeah, well, thyroid too,
And
and our
thyroid
thyroid
pause.
program's coming out.
Yes.
We've had that ready for a long time, but
Yeah. Well, I work with a men's clinic.
yes.
And we get a lot of before and after.
Are you the voice of the
testimonials.
men's clinic as well as Chipotle?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Currently on the radio, I currently am.
Yeah.
Good for
I love
you.
it.
Yeah. I'm doing this ED and low T ad.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And I play the regular guy. And then the
Yeah.
doctor comes in and says his thing, and I'm like, look, guys, I'm regular and this. But one thing that we hear a lot from guys is they say, well, one huge thing they say is, I forgot how I used to feel. Another,
Absolutely.
I'm sure women say the same thing.
100%.
Another thing they say,
I feel like with women, we remember how we used to feel, and that's why we're so miserable. Because women are detail orientated. You know, it's like
good.
I'm a shell of the woman I was.
Well, another thing they say is, in my it took about 10 years in my 30s to lose myself, which sounds complicated, but that's a common thing. They say that in one form or another, that over like 10 years in my 30s, by the time I hit 40, 45, I lost like who I was. And it just had me, it took me into this deep trail about just like identity and like who we are. And because when you're like, the only way I can identify, because I haven't gone on hormone replacement therapy, but the way I can identify,
Yeah.
yeah, leave me alone. I'm Latino, brother.
He keeps saying Spanish
Latino
men
brother.
don't need testosterone.
I love it.
Just freaking escape velocity till the day we die.
Dude, rock on.
Yeah, my dad had a stroke. He's still trying to get on his bike. He can't do it. But where was I?
You were hormones and aging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Took you down a real deep dive.
Dive where, the only way I can relate is when I was psychoed out with carb crashing, with spikes and crashes, hypoglycemic because I was eating wrong and drinking 2 Coca-Colas a day.
Well,
Beep that out. I don't want to get sued. 2 soft drinks. When I was eating.
Were they fountain soft drinks, like those 32 ounces?
You just call them fountain soft drinks.
oh,
When
he
I
was
was-
big gulping
he
all.
wants to be
He
the
was big gulping
spokesperson.
all
You
day
You
were
were
long.
at construction, right?
He
'Cause
wants to be
construction
the-
have the 32 ounces.
He wants to be the spokesperson for Coca-Cola. You know his golden baby voice.
Yeah, the soothing tones that sell the generations. The trusted voice of America.
Reel it back in. Where are we going?
Let me dial her back. One place I can relate is that I didn't respect until I got my blood sugar stable how my hypoglycemia affected who I was as a dad.
Mm-hmm.
So I was a certain way to my children, that I was a certain person in the earth because of my, levels, if you will. And so when
Bingo.
I heard these testimonials from men about like how I lost myself and I just wasn't me anymore, and I'm back and I feel more energy and I feel from testosterone.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so incredible, like who we even
I was a
are
different
as human
mother
beings.
when my
Yeah,
hormones
it
were going
is.
Right.
down because
Right.
I couldn't handle noise. I couldn't handle music and teenage conversation all at once. It was like, I'm going to have one or the other. I was like the no fun mum,
I mean, and this goes into like, there's people 65 years old in therapy because of their relationship with their mother.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, at that age, this is pre the internet talking about hormone replacement therapy. It could have fixed it all.
Hey, so Pearl's postmenopausal. I don't know what I am because I jumped on hormones too early. So we're not downing menopausal women because, we basically are them.
Yeah.
But, we had this joke when we first started our Trim Healthy company about customer service and who were the angry woman. It was always
Of course.
the angry postmenopausal woman. We
No
called them that.
hormones. Absolutely.
Well, it's like, when I
absolutely.
got back on hormones after my menopause, going through it, I was 3 years without estrogen. My husband was like, oh, my estrogen queen is back. Like, he calls me his
Yes.
estrogen queen because I can be feisty and funny and all of that, but I'm kind and gentle at the same time. I don't know. He finds me.
But what were you for those 3 years?
I used a lot of
Crabby?
scripture to help.
a lot of self-control.
Yeah, I did use
A
a lot
ton
of
of
self-control, but
self-control.
I could have been snappy, I think, but I was just kind of down,
Yeah,
honestly.
absolutely.
And now I smile more, and I like being around him more.
I remember thinking, who is that intense woman in the back of the venue?
Really? You thought that about me?
I thought,
That's when I was losing my hormones.
I don't know when it was.
She had a certain facial expression, eh?
Yeah, no,
Ooh.
back
Can
in the
you,
during
can you
those-
reproduce it,
Ooh,
Serene?
I was-
Serene
I
can
can't
reproduce
with
it.
my new face.
You don't stretch it. No, you would look in the back of the venue and you would
You'd
see
be
someone just
scary.
going,
Yes.
I was like, is she in deep thought? Is she inwardly
Is she
judging the
Is she angry? Is she? Yeah.
It was probably my 11 frown lines, too.
You're very
you know?
approachable though now.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm happier, for sure. Well, what did you notice that in Tony's mood, or
It was the thing with Tony. My wife is so like you. She's a very godly woman, rich in the fruits of the spirit. I don't know anyone like her, and it's not just because she's my wife. But that she used a ton of self-control. She was
Yeah.
gracious with me, but inside, literally, I'm telling you, ladies, the wheels were falling off. She would wake up with night terrors. She could not sleep. She felt anxious. She felt watched. And we hear this with our women.
Yeah.
Yes.
a
Yes.
thing.
It's a definite thing.
Yeah.
Those women start losing those hormones, and they control everything in our body.
And
I
a
mean,
little
it's,
paranoia starts happening with low
yes,
E.
kind of like, is somebody watching me? Is all of these things that are related to healthy hormone
I might need
levels.
estrogen because I'm often like,
Absolutely.
No, that's your Memphis
we
upbringing.
can fix
That's
you
the
up,
hood right
brother.
there.
We can fix you up. But yes, so it was life-changing in every way, in her emotional well-being, in her joy once again, in her sleep, in her desire, because obviously sex drive is directly it's directly related to hormones, like everything else. And so it was revolutionary. That is not an overstatement. It was revolutionary in her life.
And I think
literally.
for women, some women get on hormones and straight away they're like, oh yes. And other women, it's a journey. You know, I look at my
100%.
hormonal journey, and I'm always wanting to push. And I'm like, Steve, hey, we've got to do this now, and I'll be the guinea pig, you know.
And so I said, enough of you being the guinea pig.
Yeah, but I tried different things. But I have tried many, many different hormonal therapies, and due to that, you know, sometimes I lose the plot and my numbers all become crazy. But when I know how to just, you know, get where I need to be, and when I'm at where I need to be, it's so beautiful, but it took me a couple of years to get there. My journey was a couple of years.
A lot of women take many months, and you've got to know what you're signing up for. And I think of Lisa Flack Williams are amazing, amazing. Anyone that's on anyone that is not on our Facebook group, go there. You are in the Kiaora Facebook group. You are in for a treat. But Lisa took about 7 months to get tuned in. And so it is a journey. And the important thing, and I'll just plug the Facebook group, is this is a community of women that are helping each other. Before she got there, it actually turned into a dumping ground. I'm going to be real honest, where just women are just airing all their problems. But Lisa got in there and she's like, hey, let's look at what the solutions are and what's changing. And suddenly when we're like, yeah, I'm not going to focus on the one thing that hasn't ironed out yet. I feel better. I have more energy. I've got a sex life with my husband again. You know, I'm sleeping, so many good things. But it is a journey for many.
Yes, it really is. And I had some issues that Serene didn't have. Like, I've always been a heavy bleeder. So there was always that. I'd get my estrogen up to where I felt fantastic. And then, oh my goodness, the bleeding would happen. So then I'd have to up my progesterone. So for me, it was a struggle. But like you said, I was sleeping. Now, sleeping for me changed everything.
Everything.
Changed my mood. It changed my pain levels. It changed my ability to tackle life, my relationships, sleep. You know, they say lack of sleep is actually carcinogenic now. They've labeled it as a carcinogen.
That doesn't surprise me. I know it reduces longevity expectations for life.
And
absolutely.
I feel like sometimes it's the last thing people want to put on their health ladder.
Yeah.
You know, the last thing people dial in. Somehow it's just like we get to be like babies in our heads where we fight sleep and we fight sleep and we never want to get there.
Yeah, but I had tried everything. I was doing all the right things, eating well and all that. Just my lack of progesterone and estrogen, I could not sleep. Just couldn't. And when that came back, I could do life again, no matter what. Let's just say there were other parts of my hormonal journey that weren't yet optimized. That's okay, because I was sleeping.
Yes, 100%. And I know in our health journey with my wife and I, sleep makes all the difference, and it changes life. It really does, and especially the progesterone, Danny. That's one of the things that when those ovaries die, you know, a woman starts missing her cycles, or 12 months without a cycle, she's in full-blown menopause. And I'm telling you, progesterone, estradiol, testosterone, they're basically gone. And sleep for many women is a dream of years past. And it's so fun to see, not all, nothing is 100%, but many women like, I'm sleeping like Rip Van Winkle. I haven't slept this good since I was in my 30s. It's amazing. I mean, and when you sleep well, life changes.
Well, for me, it was, I'm sleeping since before my first child. So after my children came, I couldn't really sleep because, you know, they weren't sleepers and they were always in our bed, and we did all that co-parenting sleep stuff. And then after that, you know, they were starting to grow up. Then I was in a habit of not sleeping, and then perimenopause hit and I couldn't sleep, and then full-blown menopause, and it was night, you know,
so
sweats.
Basically you were living in sleep deprivation in a constant state.
For decades. And then I started to sleep, and it was so restorative. Like I said, it was back to my early 20s. Nothing about 30s. I wasn't sleeping then either. But you were young enough to, in your 30s, you're kind of young enough to keep going. It was like my late 40s and early 50s. When you don't get sleep then, you feel it more.
Big time. You really do.
Hey, so I have a question about, let's say a lady is like, oh yeah, you're describing the before, you're describing me, right? I want to be like the after you're talking about. What's the experience like? I mean, is there an at-home test kit? Like, what happens? It's
a great question.
Is it just an online interview? Is it symptom-based? Like, what's the process of going from they go to what, Kiaora.com?
That's correct. And I love this question because this is kind of the nuts and bolts of how does a woman onboard. And so the first thing they'll want to do is go to Kiaora. And just to let everyone know, Kiaora, it is a Maori word. As you know, the two pups are Kiwis. They're New Zealanders. And this would be like a greeting in Hawaii it would be commensurate with aloha.
Yeah.
Kiaora means have life or live well, and it's a blessing. Literally, it's a greeting you'll use. You go to New Zealand, everybody's going to say it, Kiaora,
Yeah.
and it will be said Kiaora. We put it together as Kiaora, and so they go to Kiaora.com. They'll be able to do a lot of searching on information, questions and answers, kind of the research. So there's a lot of information for them to find there. But once they're ready to take the assessment, they literally click in, and it will take them through a series of questions that will help us determine the formulation that they need. Now, although everyone starts out at the same baseline, at month 3, everything changes. So based upon their re-engagement at the 3rd month, their hormones begin to shift, and we will tune it in for that woman's specific
So it gets really
body.
custom at the 3rd.
Absolutely.
So the initial thing is sort of a starter dose.
It's a baseline. So we have to establish how women respond to therapy so that we have something to measure against.
Can they start on sublinguals?
Okay, now when we're jumping over into the GLP-1s.
Oh, that's different.
Okay, absolutely. So we have the ability on the site to either choose the GLP-1 therapies or the sex hormone therapies. So
Or both.
or both. Many women are on both. Absolutely.
Usually they start with one or the other, and then they're like, "Oh, I'm starting to feel great,
lot
but
end
I
up
want to
on both.
optimize this
Okay,
area."
so the
they put 'em
sublinguals is
together.
on the GLP-1
Yes.
semaglutide
Yes.
side.
That's right.
And
Along with the injectables. So there's both options they can choose.
yes, okay. But for the hormone replacement, injectables is where everybody starts.
No, labial creams.
Creams.
Okay, so here's another thing, and we're kind of jumping, ladies, follow with us, but now we're talking the sex hormones, and we actually...
Thanks for confusing everything, Danny.
So with the sex hormones, we actually worked to really pioneer an application site because the only way to get really high levels that were restorative was injectables. That's all. And a lot of women, they don't want to do injections with hormones. And so we began working with an application site, which is the inner labia for the women, which is 100% absorptive there. And what we found is with 1/4 of an ml, small doses, the levels we got were unbelievable.
Which is cream.
And it's a
Once
very
a day.
cosmetically elegant cream, a little bit applied in the morning as the day starts. It's that simple, and it changes life. So a change of life is as simple as one click on, looks like a little antiperspirant dispenser.
But
Yeah.
we're
you're off to the
growing, and
races.
we are going to offer other methods too, because it's not always
Working on
one
those right
size
now.
fits all. It's most
Absolutely.
fit all. And
It
then
is.
I've started on injections because I'm like, hey, I want to try this, Steve. I want to try that because some of our women are going to want to do that.
100%.
So
And it's coming.
It's
It's coming.
coming.
It
I'm
is.
an
So-
injection girl.
yeah, so but you were talking to me, and this made me really excited. You were talking to me about our retention rate, because with anything hormonal, no matter what you do, some people are going to be like, oh, well, I don't feel anything, or hey, this is costing me. I see this bill here.
Yep.
That's ouch for me. And I'm like, Steve. And I see sometimes problems talked about in the Facebook group.
Sure.
And, anyone that's experiencing a problem sometimes are louder than the people who are
Sometimes
not.
that happens. Absolutely.
And I'm like, what's happening, Steve? What's our retention rate like? And you told me, and I was like, whoa, whoa.
We do, and it's because, and it is only getting better as we're learning how to deliver golden rule care more and
Yes.
more
Yeah.
effectively. But women feel loved and cared for, and we try to be really honest with them when we are learning things. It's like, hey, we can do this better. We try to be very forthright so women know this isn't just us and them. This is us. This is all of us together. We want to create a healthcare revolution so that the norm in the next 3 to 5 years becomes golden rule care, not a care system that's built to keep sick people alive and feed them drugs and therapies, but an actual care approach that puts the person first and really helps them live a better life. I mean, ladies, what we're talking about right now now is with the implementation of these therapies for many of you, your life is going to change. Your marriage will change. Your energy will change. Your dreams will come back. Your children will see it. Your friends will see it. Your work product, if you are in the workspace, is going to increase. Grandchildren will see it. And literally, many of you will say out of your own mouths, I got my life back.
I mean, the most beautiful change to me is just in my marriage, and it's just so
But even if I
amazing.
wasn't married, if I was a single woman,
Yeah.
I would still want my hormones. I would still want
You'd
to
want to be
sleep.
optimized.
I might dial down my
Absolutely.
testosterone a tad.
Yeah. But other than that, you want to be optimized. So I think, pups, we are saying,
Yeah.
Danny, we are really wanting to invite a generation of women to, and I mean this, to go on a journey with us to change healthcare. Our healthcare system is so broken. It is so greed-driven. It makes me angry and sick all at the same time. So we are not into sick care at Kiaora. We are into helping people live healthy lives and say to them at the most practical level, Jesus sees you. He loves you, and he cares about what you're going through. And the therapies we have meet the most basic needs.
I love it.
That's beautiful, Steve. Thanks for coming on and
It's been
sharing
an
your
honor
heart.
and a privilege.
Always inspiring.
Big
to-
heart.
Big heart.
heart.
It's too big for this world.
You know,
sometimes.
another interesting Maori word, big love.
Yeah.
Te Haranui, big love. And I can sense this big love in Steve.
Hey,
That's the heart of Jesus,
where
right?
can they get your record? Your
Oh,
circa,
don't even talk about it.
Circa 2022. When was this?
Yeah, no, it's Te Haranui. I don't know if it's on our website. Serena and I sang
Hey,
that song.
we did a
Where is
live Christmas show.
Yes, we did.
Do you
Danny.
remember? Did you get to see it?
No. I think he was in
I'm
Montana.
just like,
Woo! We did a live at the
That was fun,
Franklin
Dan.
Theater,
Wasn't
the
it
historic
fun?
Franklin Theater,
Wow.
to a full packed house.
Yeah,
how
did.
fun.
And it was.
You were MC. Serena and I were
I was
singing.
the MC introducing
and
all
we
the
had-
groups.
It's
we had-
amazing.
we had Nashville musician,
Yeah.
like famous
Yeah, it was
musicians,
fun.
and
Well, of course, the pups were there.
it was
God.
just.
No,
Absolutely.
we were the,
Yeah,
we
it
were
was-
the
It was called Danny and the Pups.
opening
Yeah,
act.
That's a great name. Danny, thank you. Pups, thank you. It's been an honor to be with you and excited to see where the Lord takes us on
Yeah, I
this
just
journey.
really wanted people to hear this guy and see his heart.
Yeah.
You know, this world it can't even contain it.
No.
It's too big. See ya.
Big love.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.